Hello there. Hello there and good evening. There's a story floating about out there that the Speaker of the House of Commons, John Bercow, could prevent the Prime Minister Boris Johnson from tabling his motion tomorrow to get MPs to vote for the amended Withdrawal Agreement treaty. Now, this is based on the idea that a government can't table a motion if it's already been rejected, in order to prevent a government trying to bully MPs into agreeing something they don't want to do. If you recall, this is exactly what happened to the withdrawal agreement put forward by Theresa May, and she had to make it substantially different from the last one when she represented it to Parliament. She did this, if you remember, by splitting out the political declaration from the withdrawal agreement. But the Boris Johnson withdrawal agreement and political declaration will be much the same tomorrow as they were on Saturday, when MPs amended the motion not to have a vote at all. So when the Leader of the House of Commons, Jacob Rees-Mogg, said that the government was planning to put them before the House again on Monday, many MPs questioned the Speaker as to whether this was proper procedure. To which the Speaker said that he was alert to the argument you have made. And he went on to say that, "I think the fairest thing to say is that as I have been advised by the clerk, a ruling on Monday on this matter would be sensible." Now, although I'm no fan of that deal, at least having it on the table sat there being debated and argued about keeps the no-deal Brexit clock ticking. But I can see the attraction for Remainer MPs and therefore the Speaker to having it removed from the agenda, so leaving little else to talk about except extensions, referendums and possibly revoking the Article 50 letter. The trouble for them, though, is that the Letwin Amendment was passed on the basis that the same withdrawal agreement treaty would be placed in front of the House again, but at a later date. Let's look back at the actual amendment and then how it came about, shall we? Oliver Letwin put it forward and made it quite clear that it was so that Boris Johnson's new withdrawal agreement treaty could be carefully legislated for before MPs agreed to the deal. Now, whether you believe that or not is another matter. But if it was the only openly stated intention, then that was surely it to bring it back. But he did also know that it would trigger an Article 50 request from a very unwilling Prime Minister, didn't he? Also, the amendment that was voted on by MPs explicitly stated that this House has considered the matter but withholds approval unless and until implementing legislation is passed. So Speaker Bercow could, I suppose, quite properly prevent the deal coming back to the House for approval until after all the relevant legislation was dealt with. But he surely couldn't stop it ever returning, could he? Now, there is an interesting conundrum here for Brussels. And how you think they would react all depends on whether you think Brussels wants us back in the EU or if you think it would prefer to have a more arm's-length relationship with their troublesome UK neighbours. If the UK wants us back within its grasp, all the EU 27 Council has to do is immediately turn down the Article 50 request together with a statement that they really wished we weren't leaving. And, far from forcing the UK to take the deal, it would force the Remainer MPs into a massive action to unilaterally revoke the Article 50 letter and stay in the EU, even if it causes civil unrest. They would not even glance back at the deal. And I also think that if Brussels tries to push the envelope by withholding an extension, then by this Friday we'll see a big revocation push by MPs anyway, and you'd better believe they could get the relevant law through Parliament in time. And I think that as Brexit Day approaches, whether it be the 31st of October this year or the 31st of January next year, and the finality of our leaving becomes ever more stark, this Parliament will be more likely to revoke the Article 50 letter than anything else. And they will be egged on by all the usual suspects writing in the papers and appearing on the BBC, etc. Tony Blair springs to mind. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if the articles and briefings have not already been written and circulated. And all because it is in this Parliament's DNA to be subservient to Brussels. They can see nothing else. So until we clear the halls of Westminster, there will always be the risk of revocation whenever we get anywhere near a situation that takes us out of their beloved European Union. And they will sit limpet-like on those green benches until they've achieved it. Anyway, what do you think? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.